Look, all of these.
Wow, why are there so many holes, Granddad?
These aren't just holes, they're bullet holes.
Bullet holes? All of them?
Yep, all of them.
Wow, that's cool. I've only seen this stuff on TV.
What you see here, it's all over Jinmen. Growing up in Taipei, you don't know anything about war.
War? There was a war here?
You didn't know that?
A war in古寧頭here? It must have been huge.
It wasn't just huge, it was horrible.
Horrible? Didn't our guys win?
Yes, our soldiers won and laid the foundation for Taiwan's last 50 years of peace. It also set the people over here and on the mainland along two different futures. We won, but a lot of people died.
Granddad, can you tell me about the war?
Of course. I think everyone needs to learn about it. It was a turning point in our people's fate and the tragedy of an age. In the first month of 1949, after losing the Battle of Shupang, the ROC forces were in full retreat. By April, the Communist PLA had broken through the Jiangyin Pass and into Nanjing, and by August they had taken Fujian's capital city, Fuzhou, from the Kuomintang. On October 17th, Xiamen was lost. In 6 months' time, the Communists had taken the southern half of the country. It was then that the acting governor of Fujian province, General Tang Enpo, seeing how things were going, gave orders to move his headquarters to Jinmen to oversee the defense of the island. And like that, our little, inconspicuous island was pushed from its quiet millennia of peace onto the stage of world history.
So everyone must have been really scared, right?
Oh yeah, everyone was terrified.
So what did you do?
Me? You'll never guess.
Don't be that way, Granddad. Tell me.
I was going around tearing out doors.
Doors? What for?
To build up our defenses against the coming attack. It was clear the Communist Army was on its way, and so the government forces were rushing to lay landmines, build bomb shelters and bunkers, and make other fortifications. It was a race against time. We villagers were brought in to help. We pulled down our doors for the wood and even pulled up tombstones. And the whole time the tanks were off to the side, practicing their shooting.
Was it a tank like this?
Yep. Without them, the government would have lost. And do you know? They were just World War II cast-offs from the U.S.
Throwaways?
Yep. Nobody thought they'd get used again here at Guningtou.
So how did it get here?
Let's go inside and I'll tell you. This story begins on the afternoon of October 24th, 1949. That day, if you looked from Jinmen out towards Dadong Island, you could see countless fishing boats waiting in the harbor. Jinmen's main defensive forces were General Li Liangrong's 22nd Army and the 18th Corps from General Gao Huiyan's 12th Army. Together, they made up something like 30,000 soldiers. Every division was dug in, reinforced against the coming attack. Then, late at night, their first wave came in. The first wave was the 82nd and 84th Companies from the PLA's 28th Army, and its 85th Company from the 29th Corps, all making their landing in 200 or 300 fishing boats. Altogether, they were about 9,000 men sailing in from Dadong, Aotou, Lianhe, and other places. At about midnight, sentries at Longtou Beach green troops with the ROC's 201st Division, 602nd Regiment, gave the alert that the PLA had begun its landing. The alarm screamed as the forces turned out for what was to be a bloody, hard-fought battle. Fortunately for the government armies, the tide was the highest it had been in years. Navigation was difficult, so when the boats charged forward to make their landing, they were easily caught by fire from the ROC tanks. The PLA soldiers tried to shoot back, and in only moments, the air was filled with the clamor of rifles and cannon. Then, just as the PLA had at last built up their beachhead, the tide went out, stranding many of their boats on the beaches and fortifications. Soon, almost all the boats were destroyed, leaving no way to bring in the second and third waves. That was a big part of the victory.
Wow, that's cool. So where did it land at?
The PLA landed at 3 spots: Chonglin, Lincuo, and Guningtou. Its left flank was focused on Chonglin at Jinmen's Isthmus, where they moved to take the high ground on Shuangru and Guanyingting Hill. The right flank landed at Guningtou's Beishan and around Lincuo. It was to be the point advance, to take Jinmen City. As for the central group, they were to divide in two, with one section moving directly eastwards towards Lincuo, and the other securing Anqi. During the landing, the initial waves lost more than half their men to ROC artillery and tanks, but as reinforcements arrived, they dug in and moved to secure Lincuo, along with Guanyingting Hill, Beishan, and the 132nd Rise. In response, the ROC's 25th Army retreated from its positions at Xishan and Hunan and launched a full-scale counterattack to defend Anqi and the 132nd Rise. This was where they stopped the PLA advance. General Tang Enbo was personally serving as the field commander that day. Tang started by dispatching the general of the 18th Army, Gao Kuiyuan, to launch an immediate counterattack and to bring the tank division together with the 18th and 118th Infantries, along with General Hulian's reinforcements from Liaoluo Beach. The plan was to surround the PLA and wipe them out somewhere around Guningtou. So on the 25th, at around 4:30 in the morning, the 18th and 118th Infantry joined with the tank forces, and while the 14th Division moved north from Wucuo, the remainder of the army moved west in a coordinated counterattack from Housha and Chonglin. By 11 o'clock, the ROC forces had joined up and retaken Anqi and Butou.
Grandpa, the battle was so fierce. Everyone must have been scared to death.
Of course we were. Nobody in our village had ever seen anything like this. Everyone ran for their lives. Some got behind the mountain, others stayed in their homes or hid in dry wells. For 3 days and nights we went hungry, praying to the gods to get us through it.
Who did it pray to? Was it that general Grandma prays to, Li Guangqian?
No, that's General Li, and it was in this battle that he lost his life. The people set up a temple to him in honor of his bravery that day.
So how did he die?
For that, we need to go to Lincuo, the bloodiest fight of the battle. Later in the day, at 2 in the afternoon, the ROC army massed with the tank division and attacked Lincuo. The PLA fought back with everything they had, and the ROC infantry was taking heavy casualties. General Li moved to the infantry's front line to supervise the advance and push his men on, and as the tanks moved forward to begin the assault, Lee jumped up, brandishing his pistol and shouting for his men to follow. But at that very same moment, an enemy machine gun fired on their position and shot the general down. He fell to the ground, bleeding badly, and gave his life for his country right there on the battlefield. After more than 10 assaults on the PLA's position, our army finally retook Linzhou, opening up a serious breach in the PLA lines. Yet what they didn't know was that the Communist command was already arranging for reinforcements, and early in the morning of the 26th, at about 3 a.m., the PLA succeeded in landing 4 more companies at Huwei and Guningtou. So around 7 o'clock, under cover of ROC bombers and with the tank division leading the charge, a counterattack was launched on Nanshan and Linzhou. By midday, the ROC had recovered Linzhou and opened up 2 fierce fronts in the villages of Nanshan and Beishan, where they were slowly pushing the PLA forces back to the coast in fierce street-to-street combat. Once the PLA was pinned against the ocean, the ROC infantry pushed forward under the cover of their navy's guns, and that was the end. The PLA's remaining 900 men surrendered. All told, they had lost 400 men. It was a decisive victory for the ROC, but as they cleared the battlefield, the ships were riddled with holes, and corpses littered the beaches, their dead eyes focused on nothing.
It really was a horrible battle.
Yes, now you know what horrible means. Though the battle was a victory, and the foundation for the new democracy that gave Taiwan its future prosperity, it was a torturous trial for the people of Jinmen. My one hope is that my grandson's generation never need experience such terrifying hardship.